What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, family, bear with me. It's obvious we have to make videos for stupid people. So we have to explain things. Not that we have to. We don't have to do nothing. We can say middle fingers to every single one of them and keep it pushing. But I'm gonna do it for the stupid ones out there. For the can't get right to the world. Um, we as men, we speak up against bullying, right? We speak up against stupid shit. We speak up against falsehoods. And this day and time, people don't care about what's true anymore. They don't care about what's right. They just glaze whoever. No different from racist Ryan having racist ass fans who hear him sit up here and say a bunch of lies, a bunch of hateful, evil shit, then turn around and talk about he's a child of God and talk about how you want to give everybody the love that Jesus put in his heart. He's trying to save the kids, but he's talking about he hate niggas. I hate all niggas. I'm anti-black. I'm KKK. Yeah. And his hateful, racist ass fans don't give a fuck. They ride with him. See, Aries is too much man to be anybody's fucking fan. So when y'all sit up here playing a whole glaze, get on your knees and lick balls of these motherfuckers, yeah, that's what y'all are, a bunch of bitches, full of anxiety, full of ignorance and stupidity. Y'all better go get some therapy and get your heads checked out of some shit because y'all talk stupid shit. Y'all don't even know how to stick to topics. You can't even, it's really difficult to talk to stupid people, like really. Y'all run around here claiming health issues and mental health issues. Yeah, okay, well, it's not my fault y'all fucked up. You fuck around and get yourself really fucked up. Running your mouth too much. Y'all talk too much about nothing. First of all, now, let me just give you an example. I posted a video. Y'all seen it, right? James Toney is saying if he would have trained for Roy Jones, we would have never heard of Roy again. Who gives a fuck about what James Toney said? They fought and Roy Jones beat his ass, didn't he? The whole point of the video, which is why I put myself in the video. And what did I say? So, Roy, are you going to now get in your feelings and want to challenge James Toney to a fight because he's giving his opinion? All Floyd did was watch you get knocked the fuck out, right? So bottom line, if you hadn't got knocked the fuck out, nobody could say it, could show it, right? So here's my whole thing. We don't care about what James Toney said. But he gave an opinion saying we would have never heard of Roy if he had trained. So in other words, he's telling you Roy didn't get the best version of him. That's what he's telling you, right? That's what your focus is. You know how stupid you got to be to come into the comment section and talk about, ain't nobody trying to hear this dude. He wouldn't have beat Roy. Asshole. We don't give a fuck about his excuse. We saw the fucking fight. Roy whooped his ass. So if he didn't train properly, that's his problem. But did you not hear what the fuck I said in the video? We don't give a fuck about his excuse. What's Roy's response to him? Nothing. He's silent. So you just want to go around and try to and pretend you want to fight little guys. Looking bad, looking stupid. I can tell something wrong with you motherfuckers. Y'all got mental issues. Something is not right with y'all by y'all responses because y'all can't even stick to topics. The fucked up thing about y'all is when you fucked up and don't know you fucked up. And you more concerned about glazing a fucking dude like he your fucking husband instead of fucking standing up and fixing yourself. I guarantee you shit wrong with you inside. When Roy Jones was fighting Antonio Tarver the first time, I was at work. I remember my coworkers, yo, Aries, you watched the fight? You watching the Roy Jones fight? And I remember I said, it depends. I got shit I got to do. So if, it depends. And HBO used to show replays anyway. So if you missed it the first time, it wasn't no big deal that I seen it live or not. Didn't matter. But I saw the fight. This is what I said when they was asking me about he fighting some motherfucker named Antonio Tarver. Man, motherfucker, man, I don't even know that motherfucker. All right. One dude said, I think I seen that motherfucker fight. Dark-skinned, bald-head motherfucker, tall and shit. Like, I think I seen him fight. He lost when I seen him. That was the Eric Harding fight he was talking about. Eric Harding broke Antonio Tarver's jaw. You know, in the rematch, Antonio Tarver beat Eric Harding. Roy Jones and Eric Harding fought. Okay, and pretty much, I remember people was like looking at that fight like, yo, man, why was Roy having a hard time with this dude? I don't even know this dude. This is, I'm telling you, when this era starts to usher in with that mindset of, if I don't know you, you must not be good. All right. So anyways, when he fought John Ruiz, I never thought much of John Ruiz. Can Roy Jones take a punch from a heavyweight? We don't know this yet. So we just got to wait and see. Right? So he fights for John Ruiz. He passed that test with flying colors. Okay? Everybody criticized Roy Jones because Roy Jones fought John Ruiz, not Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Not a Klitschko or nobody, not even a Corey Sanders or, you know, Layman Brewster. Like no, you know what I'm saying? Not a real dangerous heavyweight. He fought the weakest of the heavyweights. It just so happens John Ruiz had a belt. We know how he got the belt, right? Okay. If you don't, go look it up. So anyway, he fought John Ruiz. I didn't take Roy Jones as no Superman because he beat John Ruiz. Okay, but I respected the accomplishment because the truth is, Roy Jones was 193 fucking pounds. He's a little guy in there against this dude. He fought smart. He used the referee every time they would clinch. After the break, he'd back up and walk behind the referee, causing John Ruiz to have to catch it tight. I mean, I'm watching him just outsmart this dude, and I already saw how John Ruiz fought. So I knew, like, John Ruiz was easy work, man. The biggest thing Roy had to deal with John Ruiz, like I said, was not just getting caught with something unnecessary, you know. Okay. Now he fights Tarver. Yo, Aries, you watching the fight, this, that, and whatever. So I remember when people was talking about it, they asked me, what do I think about the fight? I was very fond of who Tarver was, but Tarver was not well known. All right? I said Roy might have a problem. He said, like, why? I said, because, one, I said, Tarver's a tall southpaw. All right? And he likes to box. He likes to wait and lay back. I said, Roy has become flat-footed. I don't think it's just because he fought John Ruiz as a heavyweight. I said, because when you got the legs to move, you got the legs to move. And if anything, they should be stronger through the way you work out, right? I said, Roy's losing a lot of weight to go back down. So that whole mentality that people had, this misconception of getting hit by a heavyweight, now you get hit after getting hit by a heavyweight, when you get hit by a light heavyweight, it ain't gonna be nothing. Nah, bullshit. So I said he might have a problem. And I said, losing that much weight, it could affect him. These dudes are not fighters that understand that shit. So they didn't really understand. They heard me, but didn't really understand. Couldn't really process it like the real understanding of what I'm saying. You saw Roy Jones fight their first fight with Tarver, and you saw him sucking for winning like the third round. He was tired. The effects of losing all that weight. Tarver said Roy was making excuses and his fans was making excuses for him. Roy explained about after losing all that weight, 25 pounds of muscle, you know what I'm saying? And this and that, my body didn't adjust right. Right? And you said, I'm like, I think it's too soon. I thought the rematch was too soon. And especially, my thing with Roy was, okay, let's say if recovery-wise, he's okay as far as the weight not bothering him anymore, technique-wise, tactically, Roy going to have to do shit different. Why? He don't have the legs to move like he used to. So now what's going to happen is he's going to be more stationary. And that's going to help Tarver to be able to keep that jab in his face and work off of it. I said, you know, Tarver don't throw a whole lot of punches, but it just might bother Roy because Roy can't move like he used to. And fighting more stationary, Roy is bound to get hit. So what happened after he got his ass whooped? He got knocked the fuck out in 2 rounds. Him and Tarver the same fucking age. So every time y'all talk about that when he was in his prime shit, okay, well, we can say that for damn near every fucking fighter that was good or great. Is in their prime, they were better. Okay, so what? You know why the fuck y'all have to say that and what piss y'all off even more? Because like I said before, there's no footage, no fights of Floyd getting knocked the fuck out. And there's no time in his career that he fell off and wasn't a good fighter anymore. So that's why y'all have to resort to in his prime. We know what the fuck Roy Jones was in his prime. So what? That none of that shit has nothing to do with what's coming out of his mouth. Y'all deflect and y'all make up excuses. Before the second fight, when they were facing off, what's the question that Tarver asked Roy Jones? Referee said, any questions? Yeah, I got a question. Got any excuses, though? You got any more excuses tonight, Roy? Got any more excuses tonight, Roy? Roy just stood there with that stupid look on his face. First round, y'all saw what happened. Typical Roy Jones thing. Tarver just laid back, trying to calculate shit, waiting, watching. And what happened in the second round? Same thing. Then Roy got caught with that fucking straight. He didn't see that shit coming. Starched his ass. Roy Jones was never the same after that. You can't sit here talking about in his prime bullshit, in his prime. You're always with this in his prime. It's funny how y'all pick and choose who was unbeatable in their primes. Well, at the same fucking time, am I not the same motherfucking one that told you I think he would have beat Julian Jackson? I think he would have beat Chris Eubanks Sr. I think he would have beat Nigel Benn. I think he would have beat Collins. I think he would have beat Joe Calzaghe. I think Roy would have beat all of them. Am I not the same guy that told y'all dumbasses that? But he didn't fight them. We don't know for sure that he would have won. But I believe he would have won. That doesn't change. But it's irrelevant. The fact is, the fights didn't happen, and his career is what it is. Now, that all being said, right? Even if he had fought them and beaten them, he's going out of his way to keep bringing up Floyd. It's not just him answering questions either. Like I said, at some point, man, salute to Floyd, man. Floyd did his thing. No, it's always, he has nothing but negativity, right? He'll tell you, Floyd cool, I like Floyd cool, right? But then he turns around, what did he say? He doesn't respect Floyd. He says, how am I going to respect you if you don't respect Muhammad Ali? So, because Roy Jones says Muhammad Ali has to be on everybody's pound for pound list as number 1, right? Then you don't know boxing. Or like you don't have the right to your opinion, basically. So Roy's going to dictate everybody's opinion. So apparently he has a problem with people that have a different opinion from him. He has a problem with Floyd Mayweather sitting there not saying a word, watching him get knocked the fuck out. We already seen those fights, Roy. We know you got cooked. We already seen them. James Toney sat here and told you, if I'd have trained for Roy would have never been heard of again. You ain't got shit to say about it. He's from your era. Yeah, he's from your era. A little bit older than you, but nothing to say about it. But you respond to Floyd. But Floyd was responding to you. And this has been years of you doing this shit. And then you keep trying to make a case about it. You see when Roy was walking across that street, did y'all see that motherfucker limping? Did y'all see them old ass knees? So are you gonna fight Floyd if you want it? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look at this dude, Roy. You can tell he got bad knees. He talking about fighting Floyd, but he didn't respond to He didn't respond to James Toney at all. Klitschko called him out. Like I said, you ain't gonna play games with my country, man. You calling yourself Russia, your country, you one of us, but you home in America chilling. You gonna come out here and do something about it? You gonna get involved? Does he understand the politics of Russia? What's going on? Do he understand what's happening? You understand what I'm saying? Is he hopping on planes to go? I'm just saying, because he ain't even doing that shit in America. Where the fuck he was born? But he get a piece of paper and a fucking photo, and all of a sudden now I'm a Russian citizen. They're my countrymen too. And, come on, man, stop. Stop. That's all we were talking about. Him trying to be a bully to Floyd, but it's not working. He's looking bad out here. Now people are talking more. And you know what people are doing? They're digging up them losses. Because there's a lot of people that's not even aware. They hear about Roy and they see a highlight reel and go, yo, this motherfucker, they don't even know. Yeah, he got 10 losses. Oh, shit. So when you hear me say the more hate he shows Floyd, the more he's going to expose himself. See, y'all are too immature to understand grown-up talking and the way grown-ups think. So y'all getting y'all feelings in but he did that. Motherfucker, there's nothing you telling me about this motherfucker's career that I'm not aware of, man. Like, I know what Roy was capable of doing. I've seen the motherfucker fight. I've seen Floyd. I've seen all of them. It doesn't change my mind. When Roy Jones fought Glenn Johnson, Roy Jones looked in the camera and his little interview and said, talk about getting knocked out, and said, that ain't happening no more. Right. Came out there against Glenn Johnson. He got knocked out. From the very first round, Roy Jones literally stood there like a deer with the headlights on him. And Glenn Johnson ran across the ring, pinned him on the ropes, and started wailing on him. All that hand speed didn't mean nothing. When Floyd said, and anybody else that understands boxing and understand the eye test as well, Roy Jones, once his legs was gone, that was it. Because he didn't have the fundamentals on how to slip a punch. If you watch Roy Jones literally turned his fucking head away. He turned the head and then throw a fucking hook. Right? He literally turned his head and rolled around all this shit. Roy never really was defensively understanding how to parry and catch him. Everything with Roy was move, use his legs. But when that didn't work for him, he did not develop another style. You understand what I'm saying? If y'all take that as hate, go fuck yourself. That's just reality. Okay? He did not develop that. Therefore, his bread and butter was no more good. Because with all that hand speed, the reflexes started to go. He was there to get hit. And because he didn't have those defensive fundamentals on how to slip and catch and, block shot and move shit, counter punching, no, he couldn't do it anymore. Bernard Hopkins adapted a new style as he got older. Roy Jones didn't. Where is the lie? Where is the hate? When that statement is made, but that's the facts. Where's the lie and the hate when Roy Jones sit here and don't know what the fuck he's talking about and tell you Rocky Marciano, was 50-0. And Flo 49-0. Flo went over to 50-0 so he could beat Marciano. The fans kept begging and urging, yeah, man, you should go past the break. Okay, so bottom line, he said all that, and then he told y'all Marciano died. If he hadn't died, he'd have kept going. That's what the fuck he said. If he hadn't died, he'd have kept going. Marciano retired in 56 and died in 69. What the fuck was Roy Jones talking about? So tell me, where is the hate and making fun of this dude or whatever, just attacking him? Where's all of that? His facts are wrong. See, that's the problem with stupid people. You get in your feelings about some motherfuckers and you listen just to respond. but you don't even know the truth. Go look the fuck up. That man lived 13 fucking years after he retired. And Roy said Marciano died. If he hadn't have died, he would have kept going. So, in other words, the reason why he stopped at 49 years old is because he died, according to Roy. Roy don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't give a fuck how much you get in your feelings. Roy don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's 1,000% wrong. Now, Roy Jones, out of his own mouth, said at the end of the third fight, he would have always had problems with Tarver because he's southpaw and he's tall. That's what Roy said. So it don't matter if Roy wasn't in his prime. He'd have had a problem with Tarver due to his own words. Y'all gonna argue with Roy and tell Roy he's lying? He don't know what he's talking about? Roy said that. Don't make me go pull the fucking receipt up. I can easily do it. Right after the third fight. Right after the third fight. You want to talk about excuses. See, this is what I mean about you fucking fanboys. Because you clearly overlook what your fucking favorite fighters lie about and make excuses about. So since you want to bring up excuses, well, check this out. After saying he would have always had a problem with Tarver because Tarver's a southpaw and he's tall. You know what else Roy said? Roy said him losing to Glenn Johnson and losing to Antonio Tarver wasn't so much because they're good. It was just bad Roy Jones. Isn't that the complete opposite of saying he would have always had a problem with Tarver because Tarver's tall and he's a southpaw? Now tell me when the fuck I'm wrong. Yeah. Roy Jones got so desperate, his father trained him for the third Tarver fight. He lost the fight. You know what Roy Jones said? He said he didn't fight to the best of his ability because the way things went and he lost to Tarver. Now for his father to come back and for him to win, he didn't want to give his father all the credit. And this is on my dead mama. Roy Jones said this shit. So in other words, Roy is telling us that he trained for the fight, put his body through a grueling training camp, but decided to hold back once he got in there because he didn't want his father to take all the credit. He still hadn't really forgave his father, but yet he let his father train him. And he didn't want to give his father the credit for him winning. Now, we talking about excuses. See, this is what I mean about your stupid, unnecessary comments. You retarded motherfuckers like to come in people's comment sections talking shit about, but this guy. And see, that's my point. So when I start showing you receipts, it's to shut you motherfuckers up, wake you up, smarten you up, and show you. You talking like this motherfucker you talking about is some perfect, like he's some God tier motherfucker because he can do no wrong. So for James Toney to say, if I had to train for Roy Jones, you'd have never heard of Roy Jones again. I don't give a fuck about James Toney saying that. Because it's your job to fight. James Toney, all his career, somebody was telling him, after he went up in weight from 160, he was always being told he should take his health more serious, his conditioning more serious. James Toney was a good boxer, very solid boxer, so he didn't feel like he had to be in shape like that. He just felt like, his skills, but you still got to be in shape. That's his fucking problem. So nobody cares about his fucking excuse. The point is, what is Roy going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. Alton Murkison says Roy Jones, he getting hit a little bit in training. He's more stationary, but he's still sharp and he's still. But bottom line is, once those legs wasn't there anymore. So when he's teaching that defense is within the legs, right? It worked for him. So I can't say he's wrong because it worked for him. It's just that in the long run, because using his legs was his defense, he suffered. Because he didn't know how to slip and counter and do shit he didn't know how to do that without doing it without using his legs. He didn't know how to do that. That's not the type of person he was. So this is why, like, if you ask a person who was better in their prime, Roy or Floyd, the people that say Roy are more than likely he was flashier, right? He was doing things that you're not supposed to do. You're taught to not do, but he did it. And what I respect about that is because when you can take things that people tell you not to do, but make it work for you, that's going to always be confusing to a boxer that don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they don't know how to nullify that shit because it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm supposed to be able to hit him. He's doing this. He's doing that. Remember how Ali would pull straight back when you reach and he would punch over you? You know what I'm saying? So all of this shit, when people tell you you're not supposed to do X, Y, Z, I don't agree when people say you shouldn't do or you're not supposed to. Like, it goes for certain fighters, but certain fighters can get away with things. So therefore, what worked for him, worked for him. Now, how long this shit's going to work, it's up to the fighter and Father Time. Okay. Now, when Roy Jones gets upset at Floyd, and then he decides to, it bothers him when people tell him, like he said, right? People say Floyd would have beat Sugar. No, right? It bothers him. Why does it bother him? What somebody fucking thinks. Why? Why does it bother him? So when you say that he's better, okay, wait, check this out. He was more unorthodox. Technically, was he better? No. Was he a smarter fighter than Floyd? No. Was he a better technician than Floyd? No. He was a flashy boxer puncher that was sharp. Roy was a complete fighter. In the sense of he knew how to make things work for him. Here's the problem, though. Once again, for all that in his prime shit. As long as you're putting the gloves on and you're able to go in there and fight and you still fighting, you got something to prove. Fuck, man, we seen at 38 years old, Nito Donaire came back and won a title. All right? So what I'm saying, when Roy Jones' legs couldn't get him around like he used to, what did not click in here that I got to find a different way to fight? He did what most shot fighters do. They started putting their hands up here and start walking forward doing this. Ali used to do that shit, if you remember. He did that rope-a-dope shit, but he used to walk in with his hands up. Well, like I said, Ali was tougher than Roy Jones. Ali was smarter. Ali had that dog in him. He had that grit in him. And see, the thing with Ali, man, was Ali just had so much presence and a way to mentally wear his opponents out to where like that. I'm throwing everything at this motherfucker. He like, hey, oh, that's all you got. Or you can't hit him clean, or when you do hit him clean, he's not going anywhere. So they didn't have those issues with Roy. Roy, he developed a glass jaw. His punch resistance went away completely. So anytime we talk about a fighter in his prime, that's a lazy ass excuse for looking at their whole career. The same way we say we look at a person's career when they retire, then we start talking about, okay, where this person ranks or whatever, which I don't care about all that, but that's the way it's done. So when you got to say in his prime, he beats everybody. I say anybody from, because he fought at 160, I say anybody, I don't know if he still would be able to make 154 without draining himself. I say from 160 to 175, yeah. But are you going to dismiss his loss to Antonio Tarver, who's the same age as him? You're going to dismiss the loss to Glenn Johnson or any other loss for that matter? Now, y'all know damn well if Floyd went in there right now and fought just an exhibition and got his ass beat, y'all wouldn't live. Y'all would go, Floyd, the dude did this to Floyd, and he did. And y'all know that. And y'all sit there talking about like Clarissa Shields and other people said Floyd could still go in there right now and fight and win titles. That dude is still sharp. But you can see this shit in Floyd, is what I'm telling you. You can see this shit. So why is it we have to say in Mike Tyson's prime he was unbeatable? In Floyd's prime, he was unbeatable. Y'all always say that shit about people in their prime. Like I said, because you can't just say that motherfucker retired undefeated. Let's say, for example, Roy never fought Tarver. Let's say that loss on his record for hitting the guy when he was down never happened. Whatever his record was when he beat John Ruiz, let's say it's the last fight he had. Do you see how overhyped y'all would have had Roy Jones? What I'm saying, you can't take away what he did, but his longevity, you have to, you want to erase his longevity because the losses occurred. Like I said, at 36, he was getting knocked out by Tarver. At 36, Floyd was beating the shot of Canelo Alvarez. See, and that's the thing. Y'all want to forget and erase the bad memories. He got 10 of them. Just like I said, they literally did videos of Sugar Ray Leonard, his losses, and they skipped the They never showed the Terry Norris loss. But they go straight to Camacho. Why? It's something about you motherfuckers, man, that you're so full of hate and envy, and you're not honest people. You're a bunch of lying-ass motherfuckers that y'all want to sit here and pretend certain things never happened. Now, what if Terry got mad at Ray? Oh, so you just going to edit me out the video? So I say we should fight again. You since you don't want to. I mean, I think Roy is doing all this shit for attention. I think that, he like seriously. And also, don't make me go find the footage of him saying James Toney was too big. But yet he's talking about, when they ask about what weight was you fighting for that, I don't know, we work out something, but you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have fought heavyweight. See, he keep bringing up what he did. See what I'm saying? He keep bringing up the fact he fought Ruiz. You chose to go up there, right? And you did all cool. But he keeps bringing up his past. You see what I'm saying? You the one talking shit, man. You the one talking about you want to fight and all that. You got my number. You know how to reach me. Just like you know how to reach Floyd. See, here's my deal. And let me say this and sail away from this. I beat a guy's ass one day. Like a street fight. Beat the shit out this dude for running his mouth. The dude, and when I say beat his ass, I'm not talking about punch him a couple of times and, what's my name? Ali, Ernie Turner. No, I mean like the EMTs came and got him. All right? Disrespectful, talk too much. For whatever reason, I think he thought I was afraid of him or something because the shit that he was saying, and for me to not respond to it, I think he thought that, but what he didn't realize, I wasn't even aware of what he said. And when I got wind of it, that's when I approached him. Okay. He ended up apologizing later on. Later on. Apologized, sincerely apologized, and said there was no excuse for his behavior. And you know what? I humbled him. He was just being disrespectful and saying spiteful, envious, and he said, I don't even know why I was acting like that towards you. You ain't never did nothing to me, man. All right? Once we, bottom line, once we put that away, anytime somebody would try to bring it, I'm like, yo, dead that shit, man. But I heard, yo, dead that shit. So what? We're not talking about none of that shit. Dead that shit. Change the subject. Nothing to talk about there. Because that's some sucker shit for me to put that behind us, move forward. So what happened? All right, so what he did, he was like, yo, this, and I grabbed the motherfucker. Nah. It's done. It's over with. It's put. So you understand? We don't bring that up. Now, here's my thing. Floyd didn't punch him in his face. He didn't punch Roy in the face. He didn't put Roy in the hospital. He didn't do none of that. For some reason, Roy Jones, his jealous ass, just constantly keep bringing Floyd's name up in a disrespectful manner. Layla Ali is Muhammad Ali's blood relative. Muhammad Ali has a grandson, I think, that fights. Who the fuck are you, man? You understand what I'm saying? They're not mad at Floyd. They're not walking around here talking shit about Floyd. But you such a fan that you're like the gatekeeper of Muhammad Ali's name. So he keeps bringing Floyd's name up. And he has so much to say whenever he mentions Floyd's name. And I'm looking at this dude like, wow. So you the beginning or end all of everything boxing, huh? You can say whatever you want. Nobody can't respond. Nah, fuck that. We say what the fuck we want to say. And the fact of the matter is, even this shit he's saying about Floyd, if you look at his career, if you look at times when Floyd was fighting and Roy was on commentary, right? Vinny Pazienza even sat there and said his favorite fighter was Floyd. The same interview where Roy glazed the fuck out of Vinny about, him having a broken neck and he didn't want to hurt his neck, but gave him all this props and credit. But you see the point, what I'm saying to you is, salty people will always try to go with the popular narrative. Especially if it's going against somebody who, like a Floyd. Vinny gave Floyd his props. And you should see that stupid look on Floyd, on Roy's face when he said what he said. But you see, so the same way Roy don't put Floyd in his top 5, he don't put him as who gives a fuck? Roy don't validate nothing. Floyd don't validate nothing. You understand what I'm saying? It's just their opinions, whether biased or not. Who cares? So why you want to get all aggressive and want to talk like you want to rumble? Man, you can't even walk straight. Roy got fucked up knees, man. And instead of you stupid motherfuckers maturing and growing up in the head, you sitting up here talking like this, like you want to. You want to see Roy get embarrassed and get his ass whooped by Floyd, because that's what will happen. All that no-look jab shit and throwing around them old-ass knees. Man, I'm looking at him. I was watching that fight with him and Tyson last night, and I was like, look at this shit, man. Look at this shit. And y'all all some fucking lying bastards, because if you even go in the comment section, man, let me tell you something. Even the build-ups, everybody was tuning in to see how fast Mike was going to knock Roy out. Now, all of a sudden, everybody loves Roy. Stop with that bullshit, man. Roy Jones was a dude, no matter who that motherfucker fought, I was pulling for Roy to win, right? When I seen Roy Jones get knocked out by Glenn Johnson, even in that first round, I'm like, yeah, Roy is cooked. He's done. And they like, nah, no, it's only the first round. I'm like, nah, he's done, man. And even when he started finally letting his hands go and Glenn Johnson started to back off a little, I was like, nah, look at what Roy is doing. He's just trying to create space. And then he's walking around, and he's not doing much of shit. And the majority of the punches he is throwing are getting blocked. He's not hitting shit. Glenn Johnson is not even that. Glenn Johnson was decent, man. And Glenn Johnson was not known to be a big punch, and he knocked Roy out. Now, for you to keep running your mouth about a guy not being an all-time great, who has a far better resume than you, and was a straight up, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Floyd is better than Roy. But yet, you call yourself an all-time great. And you don't have the resume. You show skills against guys that wasn't great fighters. How many world champions Roy beat? So you understand what I'm saying? All of these things that y'all say, it's like example. I'm gonna tell y'all something that I said to my mom as a kid. I had a situation, and this is grown-up talk now. So, bottom line, if you still watching this video and you a little bitch ass, why just stop watching, because this is going to be too deep for you, too grown-up for y'all. We were in school. I'm going to get real with y'all. So, we're in school. One of the teachers this is what they used to do. For Black History Month, they wouldn't teach us shit. They would say, for Black History Month, Go to the library, find a famous black person, do a report, and pretty much we used to have 32 fucking kids per classroom. And every fucking time we do some shit for Black History Month, out of those 32, probably 18 to 20 kids did Martin Luther King. One or two might have did Marcus Garvey. Rosa Parks. It was always the same people. But what I noticed is they would only ask the black students questions about it, not the white students. And I noticed this, and I'm just sitting here like, now, why the white students don't have to do the reports on Martin Luther King or anybody else, black? Why, right? As if you get a free assignment. And why would you give them something different from us, right? So I remember telling my mom, my dad this shit. Now, how they responded to it didn't really clarify anything for me, make me feel better about the situation. Okay, but here's the thing. What they did now, teacher says, she walked around, instead of giving us the option to speak about somebody who did something historical in America or whatever the fuck, right, or whatever. She came to me and gave me Christopher Columbus, and I asked her, could she give me somebody else? And to be honest with you, I told her I don't want to do nothing about George Washington or the so-called founding fathers of this country, and I don't want to do nothing about no Christopher Columbus. Well, why not? I said, well, we know the history of Christopher Columbus. The school books don't teach you that shit in the curriculum. But we know that he was a slave-owning, vicious, raping, child-selling, racist piece of shit. So why the fuck would I do? And that's the thing was we have to do a report on the heroes that contributed to America. You're no fucking hero to me. Oh, get out of my classroom. Who do you think you are? I don't know who you're raising your voice to. But I will gladly get out your raggedy class. But I'm not doing nothing about no Christopher Columbus. In fact, send me to the principal. We had a black principal named Franklin Mr. Saunders. I go to him. I told him what happened. And he said, no. I remember back when they had those phones to be up on the wall. He called to the classroom. And he asked for somebody to come in there and sub for her real quick and called her to the. He's like, what happened? Now, all of a sudden, well, I asked him to... No. I said, well, wait, why don't you raise your voice like you was doing earlier? Yeah, why don't you act all irate? We're like in the 6th or 7th grade at this time. I said, do all the yelling and screaming that you were doing earlier. You were yelling and screaming. Well, no, he asked other kids in the class. Yes, she was yelling and raising her voice and told him to get almost cursed. Get out of my class. Like, yeah. So she got suspended. Right? They end up, firing her ultimately not because those other racist ass people thought she was wrong, but because of the reputation of the school. And they had just had a whole lot of foreign students that started going there. And when I grew up in this neighborhood, this is like a suburb, and it was predominantly Caucasian people, a bunch of Europeans and all whatever. And little by little, people of color started moving in. The more people of color moved in, the Caucasians moved out. So now we start to get a point where there's a lot more black faces and other people of color in there. So because of the reputation, because, everybody they were going to go to the paper about this and everything, so they fired her. Okay? Let me explain something to y'all. I've been standing my fucking grounds as a kid. So even when my mom and dad didn't back me up like they were supposed to, I'll tell you what my mom and dad did. They said, listen, you do what that teacher tell you, and you go in there and you shut your mouth. And I said, Mom, Dad, why are y'all always going to church talking about stand up this and pray and God to do this and that? Oh, but then when somebody do something disrespectful to us, all y'all want us to do is be afraid and scared and sit there and do nothing. I'm not doing no report on this racist. I'm telling my mom and my dad that. And I told my father, if you want to take your belt and whoop the skin off me, go right ahead. I said, because I'm not doing it. See, that's the bullshit answer I got from my mom and my dad. The principal of the fucking school said to her, why didn't you let him or anybody. So wait, so what's the process of how you pick who does what? I went around the room and I dig my hand in, and whatever I come up with, that's, who they do the report on, and this and that. And I said, but for Black History Month, you don't do that. You tell us to go to the library, find a famous black person, and do a report on them. Okay? This is coming from a fucking 11, 12-year-old kid. And I said, but now you want to tell me who I'm going to do this report on, and when I tell you I don't want to do it on him, can I pick somebody else? You ask me why, and then I tell you, and then you want to get rude with me. That's why we're here. And how I'm saying it is how I'm saying it then. Not, but you yelled at me like a typical little kid. No. Just how I'm saying it right now is how I was saying it then. And Mr. Saunders didn't like that shit. She got fired. So going forward, the teacher that replaced her, when we picked up on that project, it changed into, we have the right to pick who we want to do a report on. No different from in the morning, people come in the classroom and they said, if you want to bow your head and pray silently to whatever God you believe in, you can do so. If you don't pray and you don't want to partake, you can go out, stand in the hallway quietly, and you stand there. It was only a minute, that's all. 60 seconds, people, bow their heads. So the same way, are you going to tell people, well, if you're going to pray, you can only pray to the God of the Bible? Or could you? No, you can't do that, right? So my whole thing was, I was making changes. I was putting my foot down as a fucking kid. I ain't take shit from nobody. And I've always been the type of person that I depend on me. Me. So when I'm talking anything about these videos, and we're, sometimes we have fun and laughing at shit or whatever, but when I'm talking this, I'm not sitting up here giving you bullshit. Like, for example, and I want you to do this. Look at the video of Roy Jones sitting there telling you guys, Marciano died. If Marciano didn't die, he would have kept going. I want you to go look at that video. And if you don't understand, go look up his information. See if Rocky Marciano didn't die and didn't retire in 56 and then died in 69. And see if I'm just saying shit just to say it. So which one of us is just babbling, me or Roy? See, the truth, people don't care about. You think I gave a fuck about this racist woman telling me to get out of her classroom and getting upset with me because I put my foot down because you want to try to force me to do a report on some racist piece of shit? He might mean something to you and your people because you racist motherfuckers don't give a fuck about us. But I stand on what I believe in. So once again, for me to see a man just sitting there chilling, watching boxing. So if I did the same thing and sat here and decide I'm going to watch Roy get knocked the fuck out, Roy going to call me the fuck out and say, hey man, let's fight since you think you can beat me? Yeah, right. Picture that. So anybody that speaks their mind is wrong if he don't agree with you. No, people got it wrong. Defense, they got to think of defense up here. Defense is with your legs. And you know what? It all applies one way or another. It's like example, I say fighters that fight the best defense are usually a lot of them, they catch shots here and they fire back after they get, and if you're going to slap a punch down, don't reach out and do it. That's how you get counted. It's little techniques and things we can use. So I tell people, you apply whatever you need to apply to your craft to help you become a better fighter. So it's not always about completely dismissing something from your arsenal. But my point overall, what I'm saying to you guys is really simple. Ain't nobody scared of no fucking Roy Jones, man. Ain't nobody scared of you motherfuckers might be scared of these motherfuckers. But if a motherfucking man don't have the common sense and the maturity to understand, like he's saying, I said what I say, he had a problem with it, so he think he better than me, then, we can fight. So why you don't have the same energy with James Toney, who said, if I trained for Roy, y'all would have never even heard from Roy again. Roy Jones can't even fucking walk, man. Now his ego can cause him to go in there and get knocked the fuck out, thinking that he's still whatever the fuck he was. Or at the end of the fucking day, I don't give a fuck about who think they can beat who. If you open your mouth and put some bullshit out there, and then we respond to it, we react to it, you gonna say we fucking wrong? You gonna say that, oh, well, y'all, they don't know what they talking about, oh, because we disagree with you. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. When I watch these motherfuckers go in that ring and fight, and I give you an honest assessment, I don't care if you agree with my assessment or not, but don't come with the bullshit talking like you know something that you don't fucking know. And we talking about honesty and telling the truth. Ain't a motherfucker on this planet more honest than I am. And when these fucking people can sit up here and tell you anything and you just, yeah, because you a fan, but you don't ever think. So if you got two brothers in the house, two sisters, cousins, whatever, and they talking shit about something stupid, you don't intervene in that and tell them, nah, we gonna do this a better way, or you just instigate and want to make them fight, want to see some shit up. And then when one of them really hurt the other one, something really goes wrong. Because I done seen family pull guns on each other. I done seen people damage each other bad, take somebody. I done seen this shit. Then, man, yo, we pouring liquor out for those who ain't here. Yo, I should have did this. We should have. Yeah, too late now, though, right? Too late now. Let me tell y'all some shit about me, man. I never smoked a cigarette a day in my life. Never smoked no weed, a black and mild, no type of cigar, no drinks, no alcohol, nothing. I'm healthy as a fucking bull, bro. Let me tell you, I've always prided myself in taking care of myself, making sure everything I do is precise. So, the funny thing for me, man, is like I said, I realize the more humble you are, people don't understand who the fuck you are. But I'm going to always be a humble person. I'm not going to change that for nobody, but I ain't never taking shit from no motherfucker. And like I told y'all, if you go back and watch that round table conversation with Roy Jones and Chris Eubanks singing on them, you hear Roy, somebody, he'll ever call you up, and you got to fight. Because if you don't fight, just like you got yourself. No, okay. Well, I'm just saying. James Toney sat there and said, if he had trained for you, nobody would ever fucking knew who heard of you again. So why you don't have that same energy that, all right, motherfucker, since you think you can beat me, let's go. That's what you told Floyd, right? Since you think you can beat me. And then the thing is, the motherfucker don't even know what the word subliminal mean. If somebody gonna send me a subliminal message, well, no subliminal message, motherfucker. He was responding to what the fuck you said. And the shit you've been saying for all these years. Jealous, hateful, envy, man. Y'all don't understand that shit. You know something, too? It makes me think about a situation. Well, I was telling a guy one day, he came telling me some shit some years ago about some situation. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. And I told him, I said, you know what? You go ahead and do what you feel you need to do. I said, but I'm gonna tell you this, and I gotta skate. You need to leave that shit alone. I said, because you know what you don't understand out here? Nobody's playing games. We out here whipping guns out now because people are scared of ass whoopings. People don't want to fight no more. I said, you're going to fuck around and get the worst into this shit. And, you running around these motherfuckers gassing your head up. That's why you got a bunch of yes men around you. I hear you, man, but you know what I say. Don't explain this shit to me. Like I told you, man, I think you need to just leave this shit alone. It went out there fucking around. Get around these motherfuckers, gas you up, making you think you invincible. Went out there and shit. And I remember coming home later that night, and I remember seeing the EMTs, motherfucking white sheet covering the body, fucking white sheet like a damn peppermint, man. Yeah, because it was mixed with his blood. I ain't know who was under there. And God, motherfuckers, he came back and dumped on him. Yeah. So it's better to just use your wisdom and understand. Somebody bring shit to you, and you got to deal with what you got to deal with. Simple. But when you so egotistical that and I can understand. if out of nowhere, for no reason, Floyd just, and out of all the shit Roy done said about Floyd, it wouldn't even matter. But I'm saying if Floyd, if Roy was never saying any of this shit about Floyd, and out of no reason, for no reason, out of nowhere, Floyd just sitting there doing this just to make it public that he was just watching Roy get knocked out, I could understand Roy feeling like, why is he posting this for everybody to see it? But after the shit you done said about him, it's like, once again, a smaller guy, you feel tough with a smaller guy, right? You said all this shit, like, if he want to fight, you the one said you wanted to fight. You know, you the one issued the challenge. You make it seem like he did it for no reason. But here come the fucking Roy retards. Want to run a Roy rescue with bullshit. Clear your fucking heads. Get rid of your anxiety and your stress and depression and what, because I can tell by these motherfuckers' answers, their response is something wrong with these motherfuckers. Like they're not normal. Something's wrong with them. Y'all better get y'all shit together though, man. Because somebody bust your ass. Roy ain't gonna do a fucking thing for you. Roy ain't gonna be able to stop it, and none of these other motherfuckers. Y'all better understand that straight. Ain't no one nigga out here running the streets, motherfucker. Nobody. They ain't running shit. But y'all be quick to run. I'm a tough guy. Let me talk tough on this keyboard. That's what the fuck y'all do. And all this over some men. That's how I know you're pussy, first of all. Because you can say what the fuck you want about anybody. I ain't in my feelings about this shit. Understand, what we talking about with Floyd and Roy is disgusting. This shit is embarrassing, especially for somebody his fucking age. You still walk right down. Somebody call you out? Okay. So basically, James Toney called you out. But nah, I ain't gonna respond to James. But I'm gonna respond to little Roy, or little Floyd, because I'm bigger. Maybe I could beat him because I'm bigger. I don't give a fuck how you feel about Floyd. Fuck Floyd. Y'all don't understand the principle, do y'all? I'm not speaking on Floyd's behalf because I like Floyd. I don't know Floyd. I'm speaking on the logic, the principles, the reality. But y'all be speaking about Floyd with a bunch of hate. Because this motherfucker says some shit. But it piss y'all off, like I said. Because Roy could pull up any video he want. He could never pull up any video of Floyd being knocked the fuck out. All you could do, he got buckled. Damn, but look how he come back like a champ. Roy go down, he don't get the fuck back up. And if he do, he go back down and stay down. The one fight, like I said, I can't remember that dude name that knocked Roy down. And Roy got back up and he won the fight. So when y'all talk all this shit about, in his prime, he was untouchable and he was, Roy was that dude. But just like anybody else, he had fights that he didn't take, that didn't happen. And we don't know why those fights didn't happen, whose fault it was, or why the fuck. I don't know, and I really don't give a fuck. And like I said, I think Roy beats all of them dudes. But that's not how we determine where you stand as a fighter. We determine that by you getting there and then beating them. Because, example, nobody talked about his fucking age. When he beat motherfucking John Ruiz, he was 36 years old. When he lost to fucking Antonio Tarver, he was 36 years old. You understand what I'm saying? He was 35 or 36 when he fought Ruiz, but he's 36 when he fought him. His very next fight with Tarver, he was 36. And he got his ass starched in a rematch. Now, his age only comes up now because he lost. 36, did Floyd lose to anybody? At 37, did Floyd lose to anybody? At 38, did Floyd lose anybody? At 40, did Floyd lose anybody? At 41, 42, 47, 40, did he lose anybody? Exhibition or not, or whatever? No. All right, then. So, you understand what I mean? Come on with these excuses, man. Grow up and be men and stop getting your fucking feelings. And like I said, man, if what you're hearing is too deep for your ears, shut the fuck up, sit back, listen, and analyze what you're hearing before you start responding. That's the problem with you pussy-ass motherfuckers. Y'all just talk like bitches. Always got something to say, but ain't saying nothing. Plain and simple. We're not going to call this the demise or the fall of Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones was one of the greatest fighters, talent-wise, that I've ever seen go in the ring and do his thing. But at the same fucking time, man, his career ended the way it did. And we ain't going to celebrate his prayer. Yeah, I know. Yeah, everybody in their prime, this guy was that, this guy was this. Like I said, simply because you can't find no era of time for Floyd where he fell off and got his ass whooped and got knocked the fuck out and got 10 losses on his record. And that's what the fuck this is about. So yeah, man, you gonna call a spade, do it all the time. Not just when it's convenient for you and your story. That's all I got for you motherfuckers. Talk to me in the comment section. Only the real ones. Fuck you bitch made motherfuckers. Get these motherfuckers fighters nuts out your mouth, man. Never fall in love with lies. Remember the truth brings out the people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.